Do you need me to press record on this?
No, I'm
All
good.
right,
I have
cool.
things going here.
Sorry.
You're playing Tortuga.
Yeah.
It's April 11th, right?
Yep. 4/11.
Do you know when you're coming on?
Yes, our set is about 1. I want to say it's like 1 to about 1:30. It's a pretty short set. Yeah, I think in that amount of time, we'll probably do about 3 songs. I'm hopeful that it will be the largest audience I've played for, aside from, playing on The Voice virtually for millions. I think coming off of the Voice, like there's like there was a weird, maybe it's coming off of anything like that. My adrenaline was sitting so high for so long. I think I was, like, my nervous system was just like, for a minute. I've had some time to like really reflect on like how much I enjoy like performing, and it's really fun and it's exciting, and like not everyone gets to do that. And like when I do get nervous and I'm thinking about a show coming up, it's usually just because I don't feel prepared. I'm sure I'll be nervous the day of, but it's kind of one of those things. It feels like it's starting to be like muscle memory. On the recovery side, it hasn't affected my recovery. I'm strong. I haven't. I'm still clean. Right? Celebrated 7 years. It makes me feel grateful. I mean, I have to, with everything, and I don't know if this is an addict thing. I always say this. I don't know if this is an addict thing or just like a person thing. I don't know. But I'm always striving for better. For more. Which I've heard people call the disease of addiction as the disease of more, you know what I mean? So, for me, I have to kind of balance, it's perfectionism. I have to balance like being grateful for what is and what I have, but also like my aspiration and what I'm striving for. So like at the show, I'll really quickly, really easily go from like, all right, man, all these people showed up, to like, oh man, there's so many empty seats. When I put on a show like that and people come out and people come up to me after and they tell me what it meant to them. And a lot of people that are at those shows specifically are people in recovery, are people that are fresh in recovery, because Recovery Unplugged, I do a lot of work with them and they support and they try to get people to come out. So there's a lot of people that are, fresh out of treatment. They feel affected in a positive way and they express that to me, and that kind of instantly, if I let it, dissolves all those kind of negative things that I'll just always feel. And again, like it puts it in perspective. And then, yeah, I mean, like just taking a second to recognize, like, when I did the first one of these, it was my 4-year anniversary. Right. And, I just wanted to celebrate with a concert. It was 4 of us in the band at that point. I think, I don't know, maybe like 75 people showed up, which was like, oh my God, this is the most people that has ever come out to a show for me. Where we've come from there is leaps and bounds, so many improvements. So it's like really important, even though that I'm striving for better and more and all that, like to remember, like, yeah, man, like we're coming from,
How far you've come.
Yeah, so I feel good, but it's a choice I have to make. Something clicked in me, and I called a buddy of mine complaining about a gig, which is generally what I'll do. I'll call up my friend. I'm like, man, I hate playing these wedding gigs. Like, I just feel like I should be doing more, whatever. And he's like, listen, man, like if the goal was to be a professional musician and to make a living making music, playing music, like you've done it. Congratulations. Sit back, relax. Keep doing what you're doing, whatever. But that was never the goal. I mean, maybe it was a goal at one point, but the goal is to be a recording artist. If someone asks you, which they've asked, I mean, that's what this whole experience has been this last year, going into writing sessions with like legitimate writers and you know, working with people in the industry, they want to know like, well, who are you as an artist? I was talking to someone earlier today about it. I almost think that like playing gigs, covers for like the last 20 years has almost like made it harder to know what I am as an artist. I've been really putting the effort into to figuring it out. And I have a better idea, but it's also ever changing. I think the original question was, how has it helped my career? I mean, I've raised my rate for things, so like, you know, financially it's helped a bit. I'm in this weird space of like, there's some regular gigs that I play still, that I played before, but now they pay maybe a little bit better. But then there's some gigs that are more like, they're concerts. You know, I got one foot in like, you know, a Tortuga, and then another foot at, you know, Roxanne's liquor den, you know, down the street, which is awesome, you know what I mean? But it's, yeah, I mean, I'm still doing a lot of the same gigs that I was doing before, which at first, after winning The Voice, is like a kind of a hard thing to wrap my head around. The thing about this thing, and I don't know if it's industry specific or again, life specific, like addict or human. I don't know, maybe it's getting comfortable with reframing, you know, your perspective. Still kind of going through kind of the hard patch of coming home and figuring out like, where am I standing? Where am I at? And how do I move forward? You know, once I made peace with like, well, you gotta work, man. Go to work. Maybe what I've gotten the most, aside from a couple of really great connections, you know, I talked to Bublé this morning. Like, we're all trying to figure out like how we move forward, and at the end of the day, it's songs. The doors aren't closed. Now it's just a matter of like, we need songs, because the songs don't have to come from me.
Co-writing.
Exactly. A good song can come from anywhere. I have all these records that I have already written, that I had already recorded, and that just needed some finishing touches, and then they go out. 6 of the records that are coming out, we recorded before The Voice. Those records are basically done, and I am just a perfectionist, so like I never finished them and put them out. But now I'm tired of it. It's the best I can do at the moment. I need to put them out so I can move on. I am gonna do a couple of covers from songs I did on The Voice, and those we tracked at a studio called Cutting Cane with George Noriega. I think one of the covers is gonna be with John Cicada also. I think we're gonna do Home, which is a Bublé cover, but I did it on the show, so, you know, but we really enjoyed working together, and he was like, man, we should do like a duet. I'm like, you know, I'm putting out all these records this year, and like the Home is what I did on the show, and my partner sang it in Spanish. He was like, dude, that's what we gotta do. I started playing when I was 8, started playing guitar. I went to a school called Beacon Hill, 3rd grade. We had this one young guy, I don't remember his name, and if I could find him, I would thank him and I would want to jam with him, because he changed my life. He gave piano lessons after school, and I had my mom sign me up, so I would learn piano. So that was the first instrument I actually ever played, was piano. But it was an upright, like wooden piano, and I just could not sit still and focus on the thing. And we always ended up just going back to the guitar. I gravitated towards it naturally, right, with the free play, and that's where I went. It kind of just, from there, you know, eventually, you know, thank God my mom supported that and got me a guitar, and then I played that, and then every talent show, every variety show, I was a part of it, playing something.
So from 8 years old to 36, you've pretty much been constantly playing music, except for maybe that time when you put the guitar up for the
That's 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Is that
Yeah.
pretty much been it?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was, yeah, I mean, there was a couple, we call it jails, institutions, and death, right? I've been to a lot of institutions. Rehab was one of them. There was another that I was almost expelled, and that's a whole long story. But while I was there, I wasn't allowed to have a guitar. Well, my mom brought it during the visitation, so that 1 hour a week, I could kind of play. I never went to jail, but in the rooms, what we say, the disease of addiction is a, man, I wish I could remember the specific line, the specific literature, I could read it to you. When it goes untreated, jails, institutions, and death. You know, so whether drugs are involved or not is not even the thing, because the disease is not about drugs. Drugs is where it leads most of us, because we find that it's a cure, but it's not a cure. It's a coping thing, you know. So before you find the drugs, we're nuts. We're crazy. You know what I mean? You know, when I say, like, I don't know if it's an addict thing or a human thing, the reality is addict stuff is human stuff. It's just amplified.
What would you tell that Adam David from 7 years ago, if you could talk to him now?
I think I would just reassure him that he's on the right track, and that everything that's happened and everything that he's doing is, there's a purpose, you know? I made some terrible decisions so that I could make some right decisions and lead myself to where I'm at. I don't know if I would have listened if I told myself before I was ready. That's the reality, man. It's like this thing is not, you can't do it for somebody. You know what I mean? You can't shake someone into it, like they have to get there. You know what I mean? And I was lucky to get there when I did. I want to go as far as you can go. I want to be, you know, in that 1% of artists. I want to be as successful as I can possibly be in my career. I want to travel the world playing my music, playing other people's music too. That's cool. And I want to use that to help other people. You know, my story is what it is, and even, you know, in another 7 years, I'll still be an addict. I'll still be someone who came from where I came from.
Does the music help?
Yeah.
If there wasn't music, would you be recovered?
I don't know if I would be alive. Like some of the things that I struggle with is balancing what I do, like with my career, and like just like living life. Even after winning The Voice, I mean, there was like a really hard patch where I was like faced with like, because my expectations weren't being matched with what I thought how it was gonna play out, where I was like, man, like, am I even supposed to be doing this? And I like thought like, well, what else would I do? It's like, you know, you give so much of your life and yourself to a thing, like, what do you know what I mean? I think it was the catalyst. It was the beginning. If I got anything to do with it, I won't be stopped. But yeah.
I thank you for just being so open again.
Yeah.
As it all comes to pass for you. Now, let's just hope this voice memo didn't let me down.